Welcome to the Explainer. There's this one question causing a ton of confusion and some really high stakes problems right now. Are those AI detectors actually reliable? All right, let's just get right into it. This is the question on everyone's mind. And look, we all want that simple yes or no, right? We want a machine that spits out a number and tells us this is real or this is fake. But spoiler alert, it is just not that simple.
So here's the answer, and it's both simple and really messy. If you're using them as a rough hint, a little nudge to maybe look a bit closer, yeah, sometimes, but as definitive proof, the kind you'd stake a grade or a job on, absolutely not. Seriously, not even close.
Okay, so let's get into the simple, messy truth. Understanding that distinction is everything. And to get it, we have to look at how we actually write these days, because that's where the whole problem starts. See, the whole problem starts right here. Writing today just isn't this clean, black and white thing. It's not human over here and AI over there. It's a soup. Think about it. You might write a draft, then use an AI to polish a paragraph, or a grammar tool to fix a sentence. The lines get blurry, fast. And you know what? This isn't some big secret. The very companies building these huge AI models, folks like OpenAI, they're super open about it. They've said it themselves, it's basically impossible to reliably detect all AI-written text. Impossible. Okay, so that brings up a huge question, right? If they're this unreliable, why does it feel like everyone is so desperate for them to work? Why do we want this robot judge so badly? Well, it's because the world changed practically overnight. The stakes just shot through the roof, like instantly. You've got teachers trying to protect academic integrity, editors drowning in spam, hiring managers looking for real voices, and on the flip side, you have students who are terrified of being falsely accused. Everybody needed a quick fix, an easy answer, and they needed it yesterday. I think on a gut level, we all just crave the comfort of a machine that can go beep, real, or boop, fake. It's like we want a metal detector, but for language. The problem is, language isn't solid like metal. It's way more like fog. You can try to shine a light through it, but you're never really sure what you're seeing. So how are these tools even trying to solve this super fuzzy problem? Let's pop the hood and see how they work. Turns out, it's a bit like guessing from, well, crumb vibes. Okay, so most detectors you're going to run into use one of two main methods. The first one, which is by far the most common, is basically just guessing based on patterns in the text. The second method, which is way stronger, but you don't see it as often, actually tries to verify where the text came from. Let's talk about that first one, style-based detection. How does it even work? Well, it's not reading for meaning or understanding your arguments. Nope. It's a pure pattern matcher. It's been trained to recognize the statistical flavor of AI text, and then it just looks for that same flavor in whatever you feed it. And this quote just nails the problem perfectly. The detector isn't seeing who wrote something or why. It's like trying to figure out who baked a cake just by looking at the crumbs. Sometimes you can make a good guess, but other times you're just judging crumb vibes. That's it. And this whole approach just falls apart really, really quickly. Why? For starters, a lot of human writing, especially the formal stuff we do for school or work, can look really statistical and predictable. Then you've got the fact that most writing is a mix of human and AI. Plus, short text just doesn't have enough crumbs to analyze. And don't even get me started on how confused these things get by non-native speakers or just heavy editing. This isn't just some abstract technical issue. The cost of being wrong is huge. It has a very real and sometimes devastating human cost. I mean, this is the nightmare scenario, right? A student, a job applicant, anyone. They pour their heart into something they wrote, and suddenly they're being forced to defend themselves against a number on a screen. They have to prove they're human to a system that got it wrong. And unfortunately, we see this exact pattern play out over and over again. A student turns in a short piece of writing. A detector flags it with a high AI-generated score. Then that score is treated like it's gospel, like it's undeniable proof. And the craziest part, this often happens even when the tool's own developers are shouting from the rooftops, "Don't use it like this." Take Turnitin, for instance. It's one of the biggest names in this space. They explicitly warned that their detector is way less accurate on submissions under 300 words. And yet, what are the assignments that often get flagged? You guessed it. Short essays, discussion posts, exactly the kind of writing the tool says it struggles with. Okay, so if these detectors aren't the magic bullet we hoped for, what are we supposed to do? What are the smarter ways to check for authenticity? Well, the smarter approach is really about shifting our mindset from guessing to verifying. Look at this breakdown. Your typical style-based detector, it's okay for a quick first look, a triage, but that's it. It confuses style with origin. Now, things like provenance or watermarking, they try to trace the origin. They're much stronger, but they have their own issues, like they're not universally adopted and they're not perfect either. So what actually works? Honestly, the most reliable methods are often the ones we've had all along. It's about looking at the process evidence. Can you see the drafts, the outlines, the revision history? It's about actually talking to the author, asking them to explain their choices. And on the tech side, it's about embracing new standards like C2PA, which basically give content a nutrition label, showing where it came from and how it's been edited. All right, let's wrap this all up. What's the final verdict here? Here's the bottom line, the most important thing to take away. As a rough hint, a signal to maybe ask a few more questions? Sure, sometimes. But as proof, as the only reason for an accusation, a failing grade, or any kind of punishment? Absolutely, positively not. They are just not reliable enough for that, period. I think the best way to think about it is like a smoke alarm. When it goes off, what does it mean? It means you should probably go check things out. It suggests there might be a problem. But it can't tell you if you burn the toast or if the house is on fire. It can't replace a real investigation. So, that leaves us with this final question to chew on. If a single number from a machine can't give us the truth, how do we start changing our processes? How do we build systems that actually value evidence, conversation, and human judgment over the temptation of easy automation?